As an aspiring Excel VBA expert, understanding control structures and loops is crucial in developing robust and efficient macros. These powerful tools will elevate your programming skills, allowing you to automate repetitive tasks and make your code more efficient. Now, what is control structures? Control structures allow you to control the flow of your macros based on specific conditions, making your code more dynamic and intelligent. Control structures serves as the building blocks of any programming language, allowing you to control the flow of execution based on certain conditions. In Excel VBA, we have two primary control structures. They are the if-else statement and select case statement. These structures enable your program to make decisions based on certain conditions, opening the door to dynamic and flexible code. First, let's explore the if-else statement. If-else statements are fundamental control structures that allow you to make decisions in your macro. They execute different blocks of code based on a condition. It allows your program to execute different blocks of code based on whether a condition is true or false. Let's go to our Excel spreadsheet and see an example for ourselves. In this example, I want to grade this exam sheet. If the student score more than 35, then the student pass. But if the student score below 35, that means that particular student fails. And I want to use VBA code to state those that passed and failed the test based on their marks. Okay, so I will go to the developer tab, then click Visual Basic Editor, then I'll go to the insert and click module. Okay, so this is our tab. I've already copied my code, so I will just paste it. Alright, so this is the code that will do the job for me. But before I execute, I want to explain the code. Now, this is our sub if sample. This is the title, or this is the name of the code. And dim s as integer. I'm declaring a variable here, and the reason is this: I want to use the loop function here. That is why I am declaring the variable. If I were just to do for a particular cell, I won't need to declare any variable. I will just go straight to the particular cell. I want a situation whereby it gives me the answer for all of the cell, which is this one here. So I want the answer to run all through this cell. That is why I'm declaring a variable. So I'm declaring x as integer. Now the word integer means number. So if you see me declare any variable as string, it means I'm declaring as a text. But if I declare any variable as integer, it means I'm declaring that particular variable as a number. So get that right now. When you declare x as integer, it means x in your code will be number. And I said for x equals to 5 to 11. Why is it 5 to 11? Let me show you my Excel sheet. If you look at this Excel sheet, our table started from here. And if you look at the rows, it is row number 5. So that is why I'm using 5 to 11. So this is 5 to 11. Remember, 4 is the heading, so I can't really choose 4. But it started at row number 5 to row number 11. That is why I declare x as 5 to 11, which means I want my loop to run from row 5 to row 11, which means the answer will start from here and end here. That is the row 11, 5 to 11. Now, this is the line where we apply the if-else statement. I said if says, open a bracket, x comma 3 dot value greater than or equal to 35. Now, what is this x comma 3? It's very simple. Now, says there means the particular cell that we want this code to affect. So x comma 3, what is this x? Remember, x is our integer here. Then comma 3, let me show you in the worksheet. If you look at this worksheet right now, this is the first column, this is the second column, and this is the third column. And remember, this code loops through this column, and if the criteria is met, or whatever, even if the criteria is not met, it now updates in this column, which is the fourth column. So this is the x comma 3. That 3 there represents column 3. So please try and understand that part. Always count the column you are working with. So this is 1, 2, 3, which is the x comma 3. And we also have x comma 4, which is this one here. So if I'm to refer to this column, it will be s comma 4, which you will see in the code. So I said if says in bracket s comma 3, which is the third column, x stands for the integer which is from 5 to 11, dot value greater than or equal to 35. Remember I said if the student score any number above 35, that student pass. But anything below 35, it means the student failed. This is how you write it. If says, then you state the column, then it is dot value. Value means the number. So when you use the keyword value, you have to represent it by a number. You can say value equal to this, value equal to whatever you want to use. Now, when you are using a number, you don't use the double quotes. You can see here we use number here, which is integer. We didn't use the double quote. But when we use text here, we use the double quote. So if you're writing a string, you use a double quote. But if you're writing an integer, which is number, you don't include a double quote. Okay? So I said if says s comma 3 dot value equal to or greater than 35, then column number 4 should return pass. If you look at here, I said then says s comma 4, which is this is 4, 1 2 3 4. So if s comma 3 is greater or equal to 35, then s comma 4 should produce pass. Okay, then says equals to x comma 4, the value it should produce is pass. Hence says s comma 4, which is that same column, value should give us fail. So it's very easy. So if the condition is false, the code sets the value of the same cell to fail. Then we end with end if, which means we are ending the if else statement. Then we go to the next x, which is the next number. So the loop continues for each cell until it reaches 11. Remember I said for x we declare it as 5 to 11. So next x means go to the next cell from 5 to 6 to 7 to 11. That is the next s. If you don't include this and you just end your sub, you are going to get error. So you use next x till it gets to 11 before it now end the sub procedure. In summary, the code loops through 5 to 11, check the value in column C, which is this one here. If the value is greater than or equal to 35, it updates the corresponding cell in column D to pass. Otherwise, it updates it to fail. So let's run this code and see what we are going to get. So let's run it and see the result we get. Okay, our code has been executed. Let's go check it. Alright, you can see it right now. It has been done. So this is pass, pass, fail because it is less than 35. And we have fail here again because this one is less than 35. So we have been able to grade this result using VBA code and using the if else statement. I told you before that the if else statement execute different blocks of code based on whether a condition is true or false, and we have just performed an example to show how you can use the if else statement to score a grade or anything that has to do with condition. If this is this, then this, then if it is not this, else it should give you this, which is what we did in the code that we wrote. So this is the code that we wrote, and I'm very sure you really understood it because I explained it in a layman way. I'm going to leave this VBA code in the resource box so you can go use it for your own practice. I will also drop the data set for you also so you can use it for your own practice. Let's go to the next one, which is the select case statement. Moving on to select case statement. Select case statement provide an elegant way to handle multiple conditions and simplify complex decision making. They compare a variable against various values and execute specific code blocks accordingly. Let me show you how you can use a select case statement to find a particular data when you are working with a large data set. So we are assuming that we have a large data set and we are asked to look for a specific data in that same data set. You can use the select case statement to achieve that. Let me show you how. Now I want you to assume that this is a large data set. I'm just using this as an example. So I want you to assume that this is a large data set with employee ID number from 110 to like 1110, and has names, has department, has other things. Now we want to use the VBA code, and in particular the select case statement, to look for specific data in the data set. So you can use the select case statement to get that. Although yes, we can use VLOOKUP, we can use except function to do that, but we are basically treating VBA code, and that is your area of interest, and I will show you how you can also achieve that using the select case statement. Now I've already written the VBA code. I just want to open the Visual Basic Editor and show you the code and also explain to you how it runs in case you want to try it yourself. So this is the code. Let me explain. Sub select case statement, this is the name of the code. Then dim x as integer, and so I'm declaring a variable here, and I want x to be an input box that has a statement enter employee ID. So we are kind of like creating a search box. Let's use that, but like a search button. So the X will stand for an input box where we have to input the employee ID to get the particular employee. Now, when I said select case X, so X is like the finder, the search lens. Then if the person enter ID 110, a message box will appear telling us who that particular person with employee ID 110 is and the department. So I wrote the department in bracket, which is HRO media marketing, just like we have in our Excel worksheet. And remember, I am assuming that we are working with a large data set. So though it will take time to create this, yes, for sure, but when it is done, it is done. You won't need to go back and do it again. So you can take your time to write this. Depending on what you want to write, this is what I wrote myself. You can decide to choose whatsoever you want to write. I want mine to appear as a message box, and this is what I want to appear. This is the same thing that we have in the Excel spreadsheet. So this is case 110, which is the employee ID, then message box this. Okay, so this is how you use the case statement, this select case statement. Then when you have done with that, you can go down and see case S message box. I particularly included this. Normally you can do without this. So I want a situation whereby if someone imputes an employee ID that does not exist in our database or in our data set, it will return an invalid ID. So the message box will tell you invalid ID, which means we don't have that particular employee ID in our data set. So that's just me customizing mine, but you can do without it. So select case X, which is this. Case S, which means if it is not there, return invalid ID. Then you end the select, which is end the function. Then you end the sub. And also to beautify it, we can also kind of like create a button. Yes, whereby we click the button and the input box opens and we input the ID and everything comes up. Let's just make it beautiful. So you can save your VBA code by just using Ctrl S. Yes, you just use Ctrl S, it saves. Then you can go back to your Excel spreadsheet and let's create a button. So let's make it beautiful. Let's go to our spreadsheet. I've done this in the previous in one of the previous lessons. So go to insert, you go to illustration, we choose a shape. So let's pick a shape. Let's pick this one here. Let's draw small button. Okay, this is okay. Let's type click to search. Let's bring it to the middle. Let's increase it. Let's say 16. All right. Now we have a button. Then we right click and assign a macro to it. Remember, we have already saved our macro. This is it here. So you click OK, and there we have it. We have assigned our macro to this button. So all we need to do is just to click the button and we have to input the ID. So let's do it. Click the button. Okay, enter employee ID. Let's just say 115. Then hit the enter button or you click the OK. You can see Andrew Flo, and if you confirm this is Andrew Flo, this is marketing, so it is working. We can also try another employee ID. Let's try another one. So let's say 119. Who would that be? This is Team Joe's Media, and you can see Team Joe's Media. Now let's try an employee ID that is not in our data set. So let's click the button. Let's type 130. Let's see what we show. Pop. Alright, you can see invalid ID, which was what I wanted. So that is how you can use a select case statement in real life data or in real life scenario. It is very easy. You can see the code for yourself. There is the code, so you can give it a try, work on it, edit it, put your own details, and make sure you don't get error when you are trying it by yourself.